And I had earlier informed you that we'll be taking you live to Jivanji Garden. Now we do have a hold of the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is John Mbadi, who's having an engagement with bunge la wananchi in terms of even the finance bill that is set to be launched, of course, presented by the National Treasury. Let's listen in to what the Treasury Cabinet Secretary is telling the people there.
Consider as priority in their lives. That is very important for us to inform the budgeting process. Number two is what are some of the challenges, especially in terms of taxation and tax measures. When you talk to Kenyans now, what is in the lips of everybody is that we are being overtaxed, and that the resources that we give the government, we don't see the value, that services are not being rendered. I want to engage you today to listen and hear from you. Apart from the challenges, apart from the problems, what do you believe would be the solutions to some of the challenges that we face as a country? Let me just take 2 or 3 minutes to break down a few things. When this government took over in 2022, there were a lot of challenges. One of them, and which is very critical, is the issue of public debt and debt servicing costs. This government took over at a time when budget deficit, as per the budget estimates of 2022-23, was 925 billion shillings, which is almost $1 trillion. Imagine an economy like Kenya borrowing a quarter of its budget every year to finance its activities. Number two, this government took over when already the government was showing signs of defaulting in paying Eurobond. I'm sure you are aware of this, which almost caused economic meltdown in this country. The shilling traded to 160 per dollar because of the signals that was sent to the economy that the government was going to default. And the window had been closed at that time. So that default, even though we avoided it, we must make sure, because going forward, some of you have heard me mention that Kenya, we will only have a breathing space between 2034 and 2048. Why do I say so? Because in 2027, there is going to be a Eurobond of 900 million to be paid in May, on May 22nd. That is the deadline. The following year, 2028, in February, 9 months later, we are paying another Eurobond, 1 billion, which was taken so many years back. Then, that is 2028. 2029 is 1.2. Then 2031, we have 1.5. And then 2034, we have another 1.2. So the only time that we don't have Eurobond to repay is between 2034 and 2048. As a country, if we are responsible in managing our finances, we cannot wait until 2027 to be able to retire or pay some of these debts. If we do so, it will send a wrong signal to the economy, and we will be back to where we were early last year. Let me mention the second thing. The second thing is, where are we now? Are we doing okay? The answer is no. We are not doing okay, but we are better than yesterday. Why do I say we are better than yesterday? There is this rating that has come out from the Moody's. Some people think ni mushene. This is not mushene. This is factual. But how was this informed? The credit rating is all about the ability of a country to repay its debts. And that can only be assessed from certain parameters, from certain fundamentals. The key fundamental is inflation rate. Our inflation rate has showed signs of coming down. It was 9.6 in October 2022. The prices were increasing. That is what we call inflation. The prices were increasing at the rate of 9.6%. That has come down now to 3.3%. That has given a good indicator to the market. The second one, and I want to move very quickly. The second one is, how does government borrow? What is the rate of interest? Remember, just a few months ago when I took over office, we were borrowing at 15.6%. The government was borrowing through treasury bills, the 91-day treasury bill. We were paying 15.6%. Today, as we speak, that has come down to 9.5%, below 10%, single digit for the first time. That has given good indicators that we can be able to borrow money cheaply to retire expensive loans. Because what we are doing with the domestic borrowing is we are borrowing to repay what we had. So if you are borrowing cheaply to repay an expensive loan, that is the only way you can get out of debt trap. Even at home, if you want to come out of debt, ile fuliza tuanze na Shylock kabla tujaenda fuliza. If you have a Shylock of 30%, you go for fuliza, isn't it? Say fuliza charges you 12%. If you find a friend who can give you the same amount and you only pay 5%.
Well, that is the Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi having an engagement with bunge la wananchi there. Of course, you can see behind them, they're there behind him. And of course, he's talking about the main concerns that have been raised there so far is that in terms of overtaxation, Kenyans are saying that they're overtaxed. And he's saying that we need to have a brainstorming session with those people behind him so that the Treasury can see other areas they can tax so that they can collect revenue to finance some of their projects, as well as some 2025-2026 finance bill, what the Treasury is proposing to tax this financial year to collect the revenue. Of course, we'll talk about that and the issues of debt. And our very own Trevor Ngendo is attending that particular session and will duly inform us in our subsequent bulletin.